Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I'm just going to, a couple things before we start. It is Shabbat. We're going to be celebrating Shabbat. B'nai Zion has a long tradition, as long as I can remember. It's not that we only celebrate holidays on the closest Friday, but we often celebrate holidays on the closest Friday. So if you're counting the Omer, you would probably count that today is 49 and that tomorrow, which is the day after 49, is Shavuot. And it is. Tomorrow night is Shavuot. There's instructions on the web about how to light candles because it's Shabbat and it's also Yom Tov, and it's a very tricky, do the hokey pokey kind of thing you have to do to get it to work. And tomorrow night is an important night for lighting candles because there's a Yizkor also. And if your tradition is to light a memorial candle, then you would light it also in this very tricky way. But we celebrate when we can celebrate. And today we are celebrating. We are celebrating not just Shabbat, but also Shavuot. And the confirmation class is going to lead us in this. The confirmation class this year is not our smallest, but it is, we've never had one smaller than 2 because we bumped them to another year. This class is 2, and they have been studying together their whole lives. It is a joy to work with them. They are both incredible scholars. They have wonderful ideas. They have special talents. You can see somebody, you can figure out when you get to the table, somebody is really great at sports and somebody is really great at art. In fact, there is an exhibition going on from 5 to 8 today that Alex is missing because with one of their, a beautiful piece that they did. So I think that you will be appreciative of their talent, and some of that will come out. This may look a lot like the books we've been using for many, many years, but every year the confirmation class gets to choose the readings. So although we print it, and some of it is the same because they're the same holidays every year, you will notice that these selections have been chosen by the confirmation class to inspire you. They inspired them. They're messages that they want to get out there in the world. And I think that you will appreciate that. But there's something else that was very important to them. Many times, Shavuot gets missed altogether. We need someone to hand out things. Many times, Shavuot gets missed altogether. Someone tried to tell me today, well, it's the beginning of the summer, we had other things to do. It's sad because I think Shavuot marks what is arguably the most amazing, awesome moment in all of human history. When we stood at Sinai, and I know we stood at Sinai because it says so in the Torah. Everyone was there, and even the people who weren't there that day, meaning us, were standing there. I remember you there. And that meant a lot to this class. So this class felt that one of the things they wanted to do was help you feel like you're standing at Sinai again. That when Shavuot comes, you need to feel like you are entering the covenant again. I was taught that confirmation is a time when you confirm your faith with God. And God confirms God's faith with us. And I think that you're going to find that with this service. So, I do not want to give away anything else. We are going to begin on page 4. We welcome the angels, we welcome Shabbat, we welcome our confirmands. I think you're going to like this melody. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. At this time, we are inviting the families of the confirmands, siblings, parents, grandparents, to stand where you are or to please come up and help us welcome Shabbat with candle blessings and wine blessings. It's a good thing we have a big bima. Since we're doing the candle blessings and the wine blessings, if you could stand, we'd appreciate that. Thank you. Page 5.
On this day, we would see the world in a new light.
On this day, we would add a new spirit to our lives.
On this day, we would taste a new time of peace.
We would rest from desire for gain, ambition for things.
We would raise our eyes to look beyond time and space toward eternity.
Oh, may we come to see the world in a new light. Praised are you, eternal our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat and Yom Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat shel Yom Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Praised are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praised are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who has chosen us from among the peoples, exalting us by hallowing us with mitzvot. In your love, Adonai our God, you have given us Shabbat of rest, feast of gladness, and seasons of joy. This Shabbat day and this festival is Shavuot, season of our receiving Torah, a sacred occasion, a remembrance of the exodus from Egypt. For you have chosen us from all the peoples and created us to your service and given us Shabbat, a sign of love and favor, and the festivals, a time of gladness and joy. Praised are you, Adonai our God, who sanctifies Shabbat, Israel, and the festivals.
Amen. L'chaim. If you are not a parent or grandparent, you are welcome to be seated. But the parents, the grandparents, the confirmands need to stay here. We have a special prayer that we say with our confirmands. So the parents and grandparents join me and say, God says, turn to me and live. God says, I make this covenant with you, but also with those who will come after you.
We will do and we will listen.
God says, love one another as yourselves. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen. Parents and grandparents may be seated.
Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of the withered leaf, on a ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day today be as the one before, lest routine set my ways.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malhutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol be'al Yisrael bagala bagala uv'izman kariv v'meru
Amen.
Yehi shmei
Rabba
Rabba mevarach
la'alam
Me'almaya yitbarach Yitbara v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'meru Amen. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam avad.
As day departs, as the dark of night descends, we lift our eyes to the heavens. In awe and wonder our hearts cry out.
Eternal God, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
An infinite universe. Who can know it? What mind can fathom it? We look out to the endless suns and ask, what are we? What are our dreams and our hopes? What are we that you are mindful of us? What are we that you should care for us?
And yet within us abides a measure of your spirit. You are remote, but oh, how near, ordering the stars in the vast solitude of the dark, yet whispering in our minds that you are closer than the air we breathe. For you have made us little less than divine and crowned us with glory and honor. With love and awe we turn to you, and in the dark of the evening we seek the light of your presence.
One and only God, you have made each of us unique and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love.
We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malachuto Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shenantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וקשרתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. If we can hear the words from Sinai, then love will flow from us, and we shall serve all that is holy with all our intellect and all our passion and all our life. Serve.
The grass is to be green, the grains to be golden like the sun, and the rivers to be filled with life once more.
All the children of God shall eat, and there will be enough. But if we turn from Sinai's words and serve only what is common and profane, making gods of our own comfort or power, then the holiness of life will contract it for us. Our world will grow inhospitable.
Let us therefore lace these words into our passion and our intellect, and bind them as a sign upon our hands and eyes. Let us write them in mezuzot upon our doors, and teach them to our children.
Let us honor the generations that came before us, keeping the promise for those yet to be. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei fele, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe, zei Elianu ve'amaru. Adonai Yimloch, Adonai Yimloch, le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob, and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Blessed is the guardian of Israel, whose love gives light to all the world. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomere, 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 Shabbat, kore oneg Shabbat. Aha, mekadeshe, mekadeshe shevi Shabbat. Kulam yismeu v'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomere, shomere, shomere Shabbat, kore oneg Shabbat. Vashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomere, shomere, shomere Shabbat, kore oneg Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh v'reshit Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh v'reshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomere, shomere, shomere Shabbat, kore oneg Shabbat. Vayedaber Moshe et moedei Adonai el bnei Yisrael. Then Moses taught the people of Israel to celebrate God's festivals. Please rise.
Adonai lefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah. Let us praise Adonai, source of knowledge and light, from whom we draw wisdom and insight. Let us savor the fullness of each and every day, and fill our souls with the treasures of Shabbat. And let us appreciate these distinctions, sacred from profane, charity from greed, purpose from drift. Let us affirm our covenant as God's people. Let us honor those who study Torah. Let us uphold the truth of ongoing revelation. Let us celebrate the glory of our tradition and draw refreshment from the wellsprings of prayer. Let us respect tradition and encourage creative faith. And let us dress ourselves in the garments of God, compassion for the needy, embrace of the stranger, and then spread the canopy of peace over all the world.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who strive to be holy praise your name every day. Praise be you, eternal God, the God of holiness.
You may be seated. You have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot and drawing us close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, O eternal God, you have given us Shabbatot of rest, feasts of gladness, and seasons of joy. This Shabbat day and this festival of Shavuot, season of our receiving Torah, to unite in worship and recall the exodus from Egypt. Zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo letovah, this day remember us for well-being.
Amen.
Ufogdenu vo levracha, this day bless us with your nearness.
Amen.
V'hoshienu vo lechaim, this day help us to a fuller life.
Amen.
Bestow upon us the blessing of your holy festivals.
Let standing corn grow ripe, as dewdrops bring their blessing. Food for the hungry, healing for the sick.
Let the bare vines be draped with grape blossoms, as the heavens yield their dew.
Let oases drip with plenty, and hills be draped in gladness, dressed with flowers in the colors of spring.
Singing your
great
good
goodness,
as the heavens yield their dew.
Let the trees God made be fed on valley and hill, the granaries be filled with grain, the vats with wine and oil.
Let every village be joyous and safe as the heavens yield their dew.
Let those who spend themselves in the study of our faith shine bright as stars.
You feed the hungry soul, the dry and empty heart, and fill it with delight as the heavens yield their dew.
Send your sweet breeze to renew our life. Restore to its ancient glory the land of our heritage.
You who are good to all, let the time of redemption come and renew our life.
Our God and God of our ancestors, as dew descends,
Let light illumine the earth. Let blessing restore the earth. Let joy and gladness abound on the earth. Let song resound on the earth, and with goodness and sustenance deliver us on earth.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim. We praise you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat, the house of Israel and the festivals.
Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion.
Eternal source of good, We give thanks for the numberless gifts and blessings that fill our days, for life itself and its endless variety, for all that sustains body and mind, for love and friendship, for the delights of the senses, and for the excellence of your Torah, which deepens our life and enriches our days. Teach us, God of wonders, to work for a just and compassionate society, where all may share your gifts in the joy of freedom.
Shalom Israel, Taslim Lo. Shalom Israel, Taslim
Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael v'shalom. Blessed is the eternal, the source of peace. We now take a moment of silent meditation, either what's in your heart or the inspiration that the confirmation class chose.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you. Be acceptable to you. God, my rock, my rock and my redeemer. God, my rock and redeemer.
Amen. We are ready to begin our Torah service.
Assembled at a mountain, our people still bent from oppression, found you, found your Torah, found your truth, and embraced the destiny that has shaped worlds.
Help us still to shape the world according to your will. Help us to teach and to learn, to hear your word anew, and to find in it our path to goodness and truth. Please rise when the ark is open. Havugod el Eloheinu utnu chavod la Torah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Pretend I just said it now. Mitzion tetzeh Torah, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, u'devar Adonai b'Yerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael v'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Adon Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlu l'Adonai iti, u'neromim hashemo yachdav, O magnify the Eternal One with me, and together let us exalt God's name. When we close the ark, you won't be sitting down until the Torah is down, but I'm going to need Alex's sisters to come help me undress the Torah. It is a treat to them that hold fast to it, and all supporters are happy. It is a treat. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all supporters are happy. Shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom. It's a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, all its supporters are happy. It is the tree of life to them that hold fast to it, all its supporters are happy. So this is arguably the most awesome moment of all time. You may be seated, but when we get to the part where we read the Ten Commandments, I would like you to please stand, if you can stand. We ready? Let me find our first word. Har Sinai. your Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Hold on. Wait, Max, stop.
Let's turn on earlier.
Hold on. Did you open the? Yes. One moment. Amen. Wait. Yes. Wait 1 second, Max. I'll tell you in.
Okay.
It's warming up. And go.
והר סיני עשן כולו מפני אשר ירד עליו אדוני באש.
Now Mount Sinai was all in smoke, for Adonai had come down upon it in fire. The smoke rose like the smoke of a kiln, and the whole mountain trembled violently. The blare of the horn grew louder and louder. As Moses spoke, God answered him in thunder. Adonai came down upon Mount Sinai on top of the mountain. And Adonai called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. Adonai said to Moses,
Go down, warn the people not to break through to Adonai to gaze, lest many of them perish. The priests also, who come near Adonai, must stay pure, lest Adonai break out against them.
But Moses said to Adonai,
The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, Set bounds about the mountain and sanctify it.
So Adonai said to him,
Go down and come back together with Aaron, but let not the priests or the people break through to come up to Adonai, lest I break out against them.
And Moses went down to the people and spoke to them.
Please rise. Hold my Torah. Hold your Torah. וידבר אלוהים את כל הדברים האלה לאמור. אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים.
I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage.
לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי. לא תעשה לך פסל וכל תמונה אשר בשמיים ממעל ואשר בארץ מתחת ואשר במים מתחת לארץ. לא תשתחווה להם ולא תעבדם. כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אל קנה, פוקד עוון אבות, על בנים, על שלישים ועל רבעים לשונאי, ועושה חסד לאלפים לאוהבי ולשומרי מצוותי.
You shall have no other gods besides me. You shall not make for yourself an image of anything in the heavens above, or on the earth below, or in the waters under the earth. You shall not worship them or serve them, for I, the eternal God, am a demanding God, visiting the guilt of the parents upon the children, upon the third and fourth generations of those who reject me, but showing kindness to thousands of generations of those who love me and keep my commandments.
לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר יישא את שמו לשווא.
You shall not swear falsely by the name Adonai your God, for Adonai will not clear one who swears falsely by the name Adonai.
זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, 6 ימים תעבוד, ועשית כל מלאכתך, ויום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך. לא תעשה כל מלאכה, אתה ובנך וביתך, עבדך ואמתך, ובהמתך, וגרך אשר בשעריך, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם. וינח ביום השביעי, על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו.
Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of your eternal God. You shall not do any work, you, your son or daughter, your servants, your domestic animals, or the stranger in your community. For in 6 days God made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and then God rested on the 7th day. Therefore God blessed the Sabbath day and called it holy.
כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך על האדמה, אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך.
Honor your father and your mother, that you may long endure in the land that your God gives to you.
לא תרצח,
You shall not murder.
לא תנאף,
You shall not commit adultery.
לא תגנוב,
You shall not steal.
לא תענה ברעך עד שקר,
You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor.
לא תחמוד בית רעך, לא תחמוד אשת רעך, ועבדו ואמתו ושרו וחמורו וכל אשר לרעך.
You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's spouse, servants, cattle, nor anything that belongs to your neighbor.
You may sit down. Hold on.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam nata betochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. I need a book. Extend yours. Would you please help? Wait, you stand here with me because we have to bless you. Would you please help bless those who were part of the blessing of the Torah, or the reading of the Torah, or the creating of the creative part of the Torah? May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless our confirmands, since they have come up to the Torah in honor of God and Torah. May they merit from the Holy One of blessing, protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, from any illness, minor or serious. May God send blessing and success in their every endeavor. And let us say, Amen. If you have names for whom you would like us to be saying blessings for healing, I invite you to call them out. We are taught that when the Torah is out, God listens and pays attention. So please call out names for people that you want to have some healing, and God will hear. We can sing the prayer together. You guys want to sit? You could sit. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha le'ayimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I would like to call up my Torah dresser, please. We're about to lift the Torah again, so get ready to stand again. Asher Samuel Zifnei Bnei Yisrael Ki Adonai Le'Yamoreh. You may be seated. Max, turn off my mic.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah uveMoshe avdo uveYisrael amo uvinvieh ha'emet v'tzedek.
In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man of Bethlehem in Judah, with his wives and 2 sons, went to reside in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi, and his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion, the Ephrathites of Bethlehem in Judah. They came to the country of Moab and remained there. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth, and they lived there about 10 years. Then those 2, Mahlon and Chilion, also died, so the women were left without her 2 sons and without her husband. She started out with her daughters-in-law to return from the country of Moab. For in the country of Moab she had heard that God had taken note of the people of Israel and given them food. Accompanied by her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road back to the land of Judah. But Naomi said to her two daughters-in-law, "Turn back, each of you, to her mother's house. May God deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. May God grant that each of you find security in the house of a husband." And she kissed them farewell. They broke into weeping and said to her, "No, we will return with you to your people."
But Naomi replied, "Turn back, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Have I any more sons in my body who might be husbands for you? Turn back, my daughters, for I am too old to be married. Even if I thought there was hope for me, even if I were married tonight and I also bore sons, should you wait for them to grow up? Should you, on their account, debar yourselves from marriage? Oh no, my daughters, my lot is far more bitter than yours, for the hand of God has struck out against me." They broke into weeping again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law farewell, but Ruth clung to her. So she said, "See, your sister-in-law has returned to her people and her gods. Go follow your sister-in-law." But Ruth replied, "Do not urge me to leave you, to turn back and not follow you. For wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Thus and more may God do to me, if anything but death parts me from you. When Naomi saw how determined she was to go with her, she used to argue with her, and the two went on until they reached Bethlehem. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Dor kol haolamim, Tzadik b'chol hadorot, Ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'oseh, ha'midaber u'makayem, shekol devarav, emet v'tzedek.
For the Torah, for the privilege of worship, for the prophets, for Shabbat, and for this day of Shavuot, that you, Adonai our God, have given us for holiness and rest, for gladness and joy, for glory and for beauty. For all these things, Adonai our God, we thank and bless you. May your name be blessed by every living being. Praised are you, Adonai our God, for sanctifying Shabbat, Israel, and the festivals.
Get ready now to return the Torah to the ark. When the ark is open, please rise.
When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it.
The whole Torah exists only to establish peace.
Its highest teaching, love and kindness.
What is hateful to you, do not do to any person.
That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it.
Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization.
Honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties.
The study of Torah is equal to them all, because it leads to them all.
Let us learn in order to teach.
Let us learn in order to do. Mark is closed. You can be seated.
It has been a quick 15 years. Just yesterday, I was preparing for my bar mitzvah. Since then, the high five class taught me lessons and stories from the real world that opened my eyes a little wider to understand truly what it means to be. Since the age of 13, I have matured to truly realize what has happened in the past and what is going on in the present day. Being Jewish is important to me because without being Jewish, I wouldn't have met all these wonderful people. I wouldn't have made friends with people I have now. In the years to come, I would like to visit Israel to see what it's like to live in a country based on Judaism. It would be a cool experience to my concept of Judaism. I realize that to get where I am today, there are so many people. Dad, without you, I wouldn't be able to make it anywhere. Sacrifice so much time every day to make sure I can do what I want. I am truly thankful for what you do for me. Mom, give me the drive and passion to achieve above and beyond. Stop until Arden can be a good sister. Rabbi, Without you, none of this would be. You have helped me in so many ways to strengthen my Judaism, make me become a better person. Alex, the two of us have been together for all these years about Judaism. I have learned many things from you. For all y'all's help, I thank each and every one of you.
The idea of religion, God, ancient traditions, and commandments are all pretty large concepts to wrap your mind around. A few years ago, when I became a bar mitzvah, I thought I had it all figured out. I was told that I was a Jewish adult, so obviously, now I knew everything. But this just isn't true. We can't expect a 13-year-old to have a full grasp of such abstract concepts. Now that I am 16, I've become much more mature enough to realize that even now that I'm older, I still have a lot more to learn. For a long time, Judaism was just something I did with my family, but I never thought about what it truly meant to me. I did not think that I was a very Jewish person in general, because I didn't study scripture or speak Hebrew. I just attended services and celebrated holidays. I now realize I do Jewish things every day. Every time I take a moment to appreciate what I have in life, or to help to brighten my friends' days, that is being Jewish. Being Jewish is not how much you know, or even following all the traditions. It is about perpetuating the beliefs and moral values in your everyday life, and building a community of people who do the same. That is another very important thing to me about Judaism, the community. It is a powerful thing to know that you have a support system who are all bonded by their collective love of the Jewish community. I also realized that my relationship with God has changed. As a 13-year-old, God was an all-powerful force who worked in mysterious ways and listened to our prayers. But I feel much different now. I don't believe in blaming God for things that happen to us, good or bad. I believe that God simply set up circumstances for life to exist and let it run its own course. I don't believe that God purposefully that all these terrible things happening today that make us lose hope, the result of God's actions. I believe that God simply exists now to give us back hope and guide us in our darkest times. Such as the saying goes, God works through us. I personally believe God is speaking to me when I see beautiful things in nature. I will often take a second to look at some particularly pretty clouds or the magnificent colors of a sunset and think to myself, that is God making little works of art for us to appreciate and receive joy from. As Jews, I believe it is up to us to take God's guidance and make the world a better place for us all. In the Torah portion for this holy day, we are reminded that we are all there, where we were all there. We all experienced God's words at Mount Sinai together. It was more powerful than words can describe, and we all witnessed it together, as a community. At that moment, we were united by this experience. Shavuot is about remembering that the Jews are one large community who have heard God's words. It is our choice whether or not we listen. Confirmation is me confirming that I am part of this covenant still. In light of the recent conflicts in Ukraine, the battle with COVID-19, gun violence, inequality, and oppression, it is now more important than ever to come together as a community to help fix these issues. I owe part of my Jewish learning experience to all my religious school teachers over the years, and especially to the High Five program. As one of the first people to have completed it, I can say that we had some great conversations and were often very thought-provoking and interesting. It was definitely a more engaging way of learning for me because of the open conversations that it made possible. I also extend thanks to my parents, who have fostered an environment for Jewish learning for me and all my siblings. I would not be up here today if it were not for them. And to Aaron, it was a pleasure to work with you to make this service happen. We grew up together, and now it is so cool to get to share this moment together. It was really interesting going to Monroe and learning about some of your family's history. We are one of the smallest confirmation classes, but thanks to you, Rabbi, and of course, Max, we made something that I am very proud of. And finally, a huge thanks to Rabbi for being my mentor throughout the years. It is always fun when I get to hang out with you whenever I have to prepare for a service. Thank you for always supporting me and urging me to be the most me I can be. I hope to do this again soon, whether here at the synagogue or while we are trying to solve an escape room. Thank you all for coming, and to those of you watching remotely, I hope we accomplished our goal of inspiring you. Now on with the show.
Show. You think you're done, but you're not quite done. I need you to come back up here, and I'd like to call Barbara to come up, our education director. You guys go that side, she goes this side. Thank you.
Aaron and Alex, it is my honor on behalf of the religious school to present you each with this book. It is called The Happiness Prayer, Ancient Jewish Wisdom for the Best Way to Live Today. And again, on behalf of the religious school and all the teachers you've had, it's been incredibly rewarding to learn with you and to see how you've embraced Jewish teachings and traditions and spirituality, but also the maturity to have your own spin on those things. So I recognize this is a moment of ending on one hand, but also a new chapter as well. So Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
I would like to invite Kathy up, please. Stay up. Oh, you can put it down. Go ahead. Kathy is past president, but representing the congregation. Brotherhood, sisterhood, congregation.
I have never been so impressed by a service as what you have put together. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm moved, unbelievably. As I think Barbara said, and others as well, this is not an end, although you'd like to believe it, but a beginning. And let me put a plug in, because I've sat through some board meetings, and our religious director has said, you know, if you could find just a little time on a Sunday, maybe you could help out with religious school. And what a way to continue your learning, but to do something like that. It would be wonderful. I'm not saying you have to, but it really would be nice. On behalf of the brotherhood, the sisterhood, and the whole congregation, let me present you with, these are heavy. You got it. Let me present you with some candle holders that you can carry with you throughout life, and that you'll remember this day and this congregation. Let me also, because I'm always the bearer of certificates, tell you that you really are confirmed. Rabbi says so, I say so, and so does Barbara. Anyway, my very best congratulations, Mazel Tov, and I hope to see you here often. Oh, sure.
You guys can finally sit for a minute.
Only a minute, okay. Shabbat Shalom. On behalf of the Benedetti board and congregation, we wish a Mazel Tov to the confirmants and their families. Tomorrow, June 4th, there will not be a Shabbat morning service or Torah study at B'nai Zion, so that we can celebrate together when Naomi Lex Austin is called to the Torah and helps lead services at Agudath Achim. The service begins at 10 a.m. Rebecca and Andy hope you will join them for a Kiddush luncheon following the service. We will have a Shavuot Yizkor service at 11 a.m. this Sunday, June 5th, in the sanctuary and on YouTube. If your tradition is to light a Yizkor candle, remember to light it Saturday night, June 4th, before lighting Yom Tov candles. Details about lighting candles and all services are on the B'nai Zion website. Next Shabbat, we will celebrate graduation and Simcha Shabbat during the 6 p.m. Friday evening service. We also hope that you join us for the Bat Mitzvah of Bella at 10:30 Saturday, June 11th. Clara and Darren would love for you to also join them for a Kiddush luncheon after the service. Join Rabbi Jana at Twisted Root for our 5th annual 613 on 613 for 613. We get together for dinner and a visit to celebrate the 613 commandments at 613 on 613, which, if you haven't figured out, is June 13th. Listen for more details. Donations were made to Benedetti Sisterhood Flower Fund in honor of the 5,782 confirmation class by the Benedetti Sisterhood, and in memory of my mother and my father-in-law. Shabbat Shalom, and have a happy Shavuot.
Thank you. Okay. We continue our service with a blessing of the confirmands in front of the open ark. After that, we will continue with the Aleinu. But because the ark will be open, so that they feel the heaviness of this moment, I think they were really good at making you feel that. What did you think? Did you feel like you were standing at Sinai? That's so cool. I think you should teach the kids. We should have a class about how to make kids feel like they're standing at Sinai. But we will be standing in front of the open ark, so while we do, if you are capable of standing that long, I ask you to please rise. We all on. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others.
May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair.
Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. On that day, O God, You shall be one, and your name shall be one.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
When the ark is closed, you may be seated. Anyone whose traditions include leaving for Yizkor, if you've not lost any immediate relatives, you may please leave now and return after the Kaddish. We'll call you back in again. That was my tradition in our family, and I know many of you have that tradition too, like our confirmands. Yeah, you go out. Yep, you stay over there. And the child asked, "Tell me of life." And the sage answered, "Life, my child, is a mystery. We do not ask to be born, nor do we even understand the meaning of birth, of creation. We grow and we experience life's pleasures and pains. We love, and slowly, oh so slowly, we come to realize that we have become, that we are. At that moment, we humble ourselves before the mystery of life and quietly say, 'Though I knew not, I have been granted the most precious gift of all, the gift of life.' And the child asked, 'Tell me of death.' And the sage answered, 'Death, my child, is a mystery. It is the inevitable return of the gift of life, the gift which came free to us. We live as the trustee of that mysterious being, of that unexplainable becoming. Yes, you and I are but the trustees of life. We nurture it, we delight in it, we give of it to others. And at the appointed time, we sadly, yet with pride, return it from whence it came. The beauty, my child, is that what we are, what we have become, remains long after the gift has been returned. It remains as a precious keepsake with our loved ones who lived on." At the top of page 27 is the Yizkor prayer. You can say that silently so that you say it for all who you have lost personally. Those we have lost in the Jewish year 5782 include Carl Aaron, Bobby Goodman, Bobby Jean Gray, Marcia Katzenstein, Claire Mazel, Ethel Hyman Schnitt, Carolyn Talbert. El Malay Rachamim Shochen Bamromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona Al Kanfei Shechina, במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוכר רקיע מזכירים את נשמתם שהלכו לעולמם. תהא מנוחתם בגן עדן. לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצור בצורה חיים את נשמתם. אדוני הוא נחלתם. וינוחו בשלום על משכבם ונאמר אמן. Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest under the wings of your presence to our loved ones who have entered eternity. Master of mercy, let them find refuge forever in the shadow of your wings, and let their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life. The eternal God is their inheritance. May they rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. And since it is also Shabbat, and we're also remembering those who died, we remember that we're still in the Shloshim period for Bobby Goodman. And we're remembering these congregants' parents who died within the past year. We remember Carl Aaron, Carolyn Talbert, Marcia Katzenstein, Claire Mazel, and Bobby Jean Gray. Those for whom we've observed the Yortzites this past week include Lucy Branis, Mortimer A. Cohen, Lionel Eltis, Shirley Murov Eltis, I.H. Ginsberg, Mary Joseph Goulder, Casper Grunis, H. Lewis Helperin, Zena Heyman, Abe Katz, Jacob Katzenstein, Philip Ben Lieber, Louis Moss, Delbert Plant Jr., A.M. Rosen, Fanny Katz Rosenfield, Milton I. Rosenzweig, Mamie Selber, Archie Simon, Stephen Israel Weinstein, Ann Weiss. Our tradition acknowledges, at B'nai Zion, our tradition is to acknowledge the losses we've had for our first responders. We know we've lost at least 6 people in our military since the beginning of the year. We've lost 111 police officers. We've lost 3 officers this week. We've lost 9 canine officers this year. We've lost 1 extra firefighter this week. We have lost 48 firefighters this year. And there have been too many tragedies in the past just week of shootings of people whose lives were lost in churches and in hospitals and in, it's horrible. Heart hurts. Heart hurts. If it is your tradition to do so, I invite you to please rise for the Kaddish on page 28. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chiruteh, v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chaye chon u'v'yom echon u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehe shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha barichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all the bereaved. Amen. You may be seated. You may come back into the room.
Choices made. Our decision confirmed, our travels begun. We seek knowledge. Perhaps only the knowledge to choose again, for our life is just beginning as a long road unwinds.
One route is chosen, for we have taken the path blazed by Jewish heritage and beliefs. That is why the synagogue is so central for our journey. We realize, God, that many streets and many roads will cross our paths and confuse our direction.
Many oblique questions will cloud our senses and troubles us in our search for knowledge. We look to you for a clue as to which questions are just and bear answering. We know that our answers must be realized within ourselves, and we alone can determine which direction our lives will take.
As our journey continues, we search for the hope, we search for the faith, and we search for the guidance that are so badly needed to help us make good choices. With your help, O God, we will strive to achieve what is ours to accomplish. We thank you, God, for the path and the direction to find our way in the world.
Okay, at this point, the confirmation class is going to help bless you. Please rise for the closing benediction. Ready? Ready? Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Take some for yourself. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always be lifted up to you, and you who have grown so tall since you were 13. And may God grant you all peace. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to sing our confirmands out. I'm going to invite you to the Oneg Shabbat that the families have provided with Jerry and Kathy's help to make it look lovely. Mostly Jerry made it look lovely. And we're going to get some more help in a second, but get ready to say goodbye. I missed what you said. Oh. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Now we have a special request. These kids every year swear and promise that they are going to come back. They're confirmed. They understand how important confirmation is. I see a few people who are on our confirmation wall. We're calling Caleb up. Caleb was last year's confirmation class, and we're going to ask Caleb to help us say the blessing for the challah so that we can partake of the thank you for being back. Ready? What do you think is going to be under here? It's been a long time. Wow. Noise. That's what we're talking about. All right, hold on. Let me get you a microphone for this. Let me steal your mic for a second. Thank you. So that you can help us with a motzi. Go for it. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for big fluffy bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avon. You take it out there. She's going to cut it up so everybody can get it. I'll take this and you go that. Thank you. Great examples, everybody. We love this. Thank you all for joining us. Tell the confirmands how much you loved their service, because I loved their service. Very proud of them. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And good Gentif, have a wonderful Shavuot. So, I don't know, I didn't understand exactly what was the glitch.